Well, Iranian Americans are rallying in big numbers with leaders in Washington today as organizers say the situation for political protesters is growing quite dire by the day. Their march has just begun, and that is where our national correspondent Alana Austin is live now in our nation's capital. Alana, fill us in on everything. You're right there in the thick of it all. You got a big crowd behind you.
Hey, Rita, good afternoon. Good to be with you. So I'm going to show you, we'll pan really quickly to the crowd here. We anticipate hundreds of activists. They're speaking out on the recent executions, at least 17 of key political figures and dissidents. They dared to speak up against the regime in Tehran and beyond, and they were punished for it dearly. Thousands of political prisoners taken in since the protests in January, and humanitarian groups fear that the situation is getting much worse by the day. Now, we're joined now by the National Council of the Resistance of Iran Deputy Director Alireza Jafarzadeh, known to this program, and to Rita, of course. Could you talk to us about the situation right now inside Iran and the threats that people are facing to freedom of speech and to any type of basic freedoms right now?
Well, the situation inside Iran is basically shaped by the execution of political prisoners in Iran that started in the midst of the war, clearly showing how concerned the regime is about its own fate, it's about its own survival. That's why you have thousands of Iranian Americans coming from all over the United States to say with one voice that the executions must stop, and that change is a possibility, that the people of Iran want change. There's no need for foreign boots on the ground or appropriation of money or any of that. There is an organized force led by a woman, Mrs. Mariam Rajavi. There's an organized structure inside Iran that is involved in fighting the regime, the Revolutionary Guards and others. And the policy in the West should see the people of Iran as their allies, as their counterparts. This is the voice for Iran, not the mullahs.
And we know that it is somewhat fragmented. Various different organizations, they want to see change with the political structure and more freedom. But I guess the question I have for you is, how can you get there if people have different political leaders they would like to see rise up, or different governing systems to replace this current regime?
Well, one thing is very clear. Of course, Iran is very diverse. We now have the representative of the Kurdish people who are speaking right now as we're talking. Different, backgrounds. But they are all united in one voice, and that's they want an end to the dictatorship ruling Iran. They want an end to any form of repression, the same way that the people of Iran overthrew the Shah, which was monarchical dictatorship. They're opposed to the current theocracy. And that's why, the voices that are being unified now, this is the message of Mrs. Rajavi, saying no matter what political views you have, so long as you're focused on changing the regime and establishing democracy and political pluralism, that everyone would have a voice, we are together. We're all in the same boat. And that's why I think the regime is so nervous about their prospect, because that's the message of the nationalities. When we had the uprising in January in Iran, all 31 provinces were engulfed in the protests. It's unbelievable, from the Kurdish people to the Baluchis to central Tehran, different religions, different political mentalities. They were all united in one voice. And that's why I think President Trump should keep this in mind, that number one, this regime is so weak and vulnerable. Second, the prospect for change has never been so great. And third, pay attention to the organized opposition, side with them, stand with them as they are demonstrating today. There's going to be another big one in Paris on June 20th. 100,000 supporters of Mrs. Rajavi are expected to gather there to expand this voice for change in Iran.
Well, thank you so much, Alireza Jafarzadeh with NCRI. Rita, we will send it back to